Again, I welcome you all for today's lecture, which is based on extraoral radiography. Now, when we say extraoral radiography, it is using an X-ray image receptor placed outside the oral structure or the cavity. Image receptor is nothing but our film, which we keep outside the oral cavity. And this is how we take radiographs. Now, when I say that we want to take extraoral radiograph, we need to learn few anatomic planes. They are also called as radiographic baselines, and they are used for accurate positioning of the cassette or the film, which helps in acquisition of required image. Now, what are those radiographic baselines? Mid-sagittal plane, FH plane, canthometer line, and infraorbital line. Mid-sagittal plane is situated where it is median plane of your head. FH plane, you all know that it is from the low border of orbit to where do it extends? Frankfurt horizontal plane till ear. Canthometer line, the line extending from outer canthus of the eye to the external auditory meatus, and one is infraorbital line. Now, which are the equipments used for extraoral radiography? Intraoral X-ray machine, extraoral X-ray machine, cephalometric X-ray unit, and digital sensors equipped with computer assembly. Now, suppose you are using conventional system, you can use cassette with intensifying screen and sensitive films also according to the screen used. Now, you will ask me, ma'am, how can we use intraoral machines for extraoral radiography? Yes, it is possible for few radiographs like lateral obliques. We can use intraoral X-ray machines. Another extraoral X-rays are also possible with the intraoral X-ray machine. Extraoral X-ray machines are there, which are of 100 mA, and the films used for conventional radiography are screen films with digital setups. They need dry fix. Okay. Now, let me see whether people are there waiting. We'll admit them. Now we'll go ahead. Next is parameters. Now we'll just go through it because we have just limit of 30 minutes to complete this topic. So let us go from the exposure parameters. It is KVP. You all know that we need to have kilo voltage peak, which is 70 to 80 for intraoral units and 60 to 100 for extraoral units. Milliamperage is 8 mA for intraoral units and up to 100 mA for extraoral unit with grids. You all know what is grid. Grid is used to remove the scattered radiation so that image would be better for diagnostic information. We'll first classify all the extraoral radiograph into different category depending on the indication. Now, first is for skull, that is lateral cephalogram. Then there is true lateral view, which includes PA cephalogram and Townes projection. So there are two different things. You can see here, one is lateral and one is true lateral. So they are different depending on their projection parameters. One is, next is for paranasal sinuses. That is occipitofrontal view and occipitomental view. And there is PA Waters view. We are going to discuss all which are bold here. The bold letters, that is lateral cephalogram, PA and PA Waters. We are going to discuss these views in detail in the next slides. For mandible, we have lateral oblique projection, body and ramus. Both are different. PA mandible is also there. For base of skull, we have submental vertex projection, that is SMV. There is one more modification of SMV, that is jug handle view, and it is with less exposure. So we'll see what is the difference between exposure parameters and appearance and indication later. And next is temporomandibular joint. I have not covered this topic, temporomandibular joint radiography here, because it will be covered separately in a TMJ topic. But still, if you want, we can cover it in the next part. It needs another lecture of at least 15 minutes on TMJ radiography, which is not possible for me to include here. So if you want, please let me know later. Now, next is lateral cephalogram, the first view which we are going to discuss. And Here, we are going to categorize every view into 4 headings, that is patient position, film position, central ray, and indications. Why it is important? Because if question comes that write about lateral cephalogram, so you are going to mention everything about patient position, film position, and then ray from where to where it is passing, and of course indication. It can be used for your SAQs and your MCQs as well. So everything needs to be learned when you read the extraoral radiographs separately. So in patient position, patient is upright with site of interest towards the film and sensor. Let me show you how it is. See, can you see this? The patient, the cassette is on the right. Look at the left diagram. Look at the left sketch here. See, this is the cassette and this is the patient. Patient's left side is facing towards the cassette and this is the incident ray. So whenever I'm showing you this type of slide, look for this cassette and for the ray. So it will be clear for you from where the ray is coming. Ray is coming laterally, so it is lateral cephalogram. Now we'll go ahead. So what is the patient position here? Patient position is upright with site of interest towards film or sensor. Film position is parallel to patient's mid-sagittal plane. So that is again a baseline. And central ray is perpendicular to that mid-sagittal plane, which is centered over the external auditory meatus. Now we'll see which is a mid-sagittal plane. This is our mid-sagittal plane, and our incident ray is perpendicular to mid-sagittal plane, reaching towards the cassette. I hope it is clear. So what are the indications? It is used to evaluate facial growth, developmental traumas, development of jaws, diseases or anomalies, and to evaluate treatment prognosis. Bone of face, skull and soft tissue profile of the face can also be imaged and visualized. So this is our lateral cephalogram, which is commonly used for orthodontic evaluations and other things, other diseases. Next is occipitofrontal view, that is also called as PA projection. Now look at this, occipitofrontal. So the ray is coming from occiput and going to front. So it is PA projection, posterior-anterior projection. Clear? Now, again, we are going to divide this into 4 categories: patient position, film position, central ray, and indications. For patient position, patient faces the image receptor where FH plane is at 45 degree to film. If you want to see this, we'll switch to this. Now see, patient is facing towards the cassette, right? Patient is facing towards the cassette, whereas your plane is at 45 degree to the baseline, and this is your incident ray. Okay, so now when I say that FH plane is at 45 degree to the film, it means that the indication of that view needs those arrangements. And what is the film position? Cassette is in front of the patient. From where the central ray is going, it is passing from occiput. So I told you this is from posterior to anterior. Again, I'll show you the image. This is from posterior to anterior. The ray is coming from here to the front. And so we get the image of PA skull. Now the skull is completely covered here. Okay. So what are the indication? It is to see facial skeleton and maxillary antra, as well as Leaford 1, Leaford 2 and Leaford 3 fractures are visualized or diagnosed with the help of this view. Again, coronoid process and its pathologies can also be viewed with this. Next is still joining. Next is PA Waters view. Now in PA Waters, patient position is head is tilted upward, chin is slightly tilted upward with a canthomeatal line 37 degree to the film in open mouth position. Now, if you don't want to give open mouth position, you are going to miss out sphenoid sinuses. So visually, as a radiologist, we suggest that keep the mouth open. So along with the maxillary sinuses, you can get sphenoid sinuses as well. Then film position, film is placed in front of patient with a rays perpendicular to image receptor. Now, central rays, it is centered at the level of maxillary sinuses because we need to have those sinuses to be visualized clearly. So that is our primary indication. We'll see what is there in the image. This is the image. You can see that. You can see that. This is 45-degree to the radiographic baseline and rays going from posterior to anterior. Now this is how it will be seen as a radiograph. This is the maxillary sinus, you can see clearly. Okay. Now by adjusting the contrast, you can visualize these sinuses more and more. So again, we'll go to indication and just have a look at this image. This is our cassette. This is the 45-degree angle and this is the central ray. I will again go to indications. Primary, it is for maxillary sinuses, and frontal and ethmoidal sinuses can also be visualized. Orbit and coronoid process can also be seen. Now you will ask me, ma'am, why to visualize all these things when we want maxillary sinus? Because sometimes in cases of trauma, you need to visualize orbit and coronoid process, which may not be visualized or may not be possible with that clinical situation. So in that case, you can have this view, even though you don't want maxillary sinus, these other things can also be visualized. So there are always primary and secondary indication for different radiographs. Okay. Now we'll move on to next. Participants waiting. यहाँ पे भी लेट आते हैं हम क्लास में भी लेट, ऑनलाइन भी लेट. हाँ. Next is submento vertex projection. Now this projection has got two modifications. I told you, rather one modification and one is a basic view. So if we categorize this view again into four steps, that is patient position, film position, and central indication. Here is a patient position. Head is extended as backward as possible by keeping canthometer line 10 degree with respect to image receptor. Shall we go to the image? We'll go to the image first so that you will have more idea. Now see, we have extended the neck. हमने क्या किया है, गर्दन पूरी पीछे कर ली है. Due to this, your receptor is here. हमने जब गर्दन पूरी extend की है, we have extended our neck. You can see that I'm able to pass this central ray from this area, that is submental area. So the name of the view is submento vertex view. From submental area, the ray is going to vertex. Okay, so the name is submento vertex view. Now we can imagine that if we extend our neck completely and backward, what we are going to visualize on the radiograph, we can see that this is a skull basically. This is the mandible. This is the mandible. Now purposely what I did, I have reduced the density of this image when I was editing this lecture. I am able to see zygomatic arches here as well, which may not be possible if you increase the exposure. Exposure बढ़ाना है यानी क्या करना है? We have seen the exposure parameters at the start of the lecture. So if you increase those exposure parameters, you will not be able to see these zygomatic arches. Fine. And when I reduce the exposure, I'll be able to see this. Now, if you ask me, ma'am, whether it is possible to give exposure parameters at a higher level and visualize zygomatic arches, very difficult to visualize. So basically adjust your exposure parameters at the initial moment only, then and then only you'll be able to see zygomatic arches. I told you there is a modification. So modification is jug handle. For jug handle view, what you are going to do, you are going to give less exposure to the patient using less exposure parameters, and so you can visualize your zygomatic arches nicely. Fine. I hope I'm clear. Oh God. So we have 15 minutes to finish our lecture. Now it is clear that for indication, it is to evaluate base of the skull and anatomic structures. I have shown you a skull, and axial inclination of condyles can also be visualized. That is uh, axial inclination. I'll show you once. I'll show you. Here are the condyles. Okay, now what you can see, axial inclination, if there is any condylar pathology or developmental anomaly, you can visualize condyles here as well. So this is another indication of SMV. You can visualize palate, pterygoid plates and sphenoidal sinuses along with base of the skull. So I always keep on telling that there are primary indication as well as there are secondary indications. So be aware of primary as well as secondary indication, because in Viva you may have to, if somebody asks you which are the different radiographs you can take for base of the skull or condyles, then you can add all the radiographs you have read. Next is our reverse down projection. It is again a posterior anterior projection. So ray is going to come from posterior and going to anterior. So patient position is head tipped forward with a mouth open. Now it is ulta of SMV. To just to remind you about SMV and differentiate about SMV and reverse down, it is ulta of SMV that you are going to put your head tipped forward with mouth open. Your FH plane is perpendicular to receptor, and opening the mouth position, what it allows your condyles to come out of the glenoid fossa, which helps in their visualization. Clear? So there is always a purpose why we position patient in that manner. If we open the mouth, you're allowing those condyles to come out of the fossa, and then they will be visualized on the radiographs. How is the patient position? Of course, it is ulta of SMV. I told you exactly reverse of it. So the patient is in front. From where the central is coming now, the beam aims upward, where FH plane through the condyles in the center. Now, this is how we are going to keep our patient. See, it is mouth open, rays coming from here, and this is your cassette. So this is how it is going to look on the radiograph. Again, I would like to admit that this radiograph is not very ideal, but this is the original one. I wanted to add all original pictures taken in the Department of Oral Medicine and Radiology, where our PG works very hard, all the PGs, and they have taken all this radiograph and we have stored them. Few are from my PG life also. Then next is lateral oblique projection for body of the mandible and for ramus. First we'll see how do we position for body of the mandible. Patient position, held is tilted to the side of interest and protruded mandible. Now we'll see how it is there in the image. Now you can see this is the cassette. This is how we make patient bend on the cassette a little with protruded mandible, and the ray will be going from opposite side. Suppose I want to see pathology on the left, the ray is going from right side below the premolar molar region. Can you see this? Now this radiograph is of left side. I can show you this fracture line which is there at the ramus region. So if I focus from here, then and then only I'm going to see left side of body of the mandible. Okay, so film position is cassette placed against patient's cheek on the side of interest, and the central of the film should be at premolar molar region. Low border of the cassette is as 2 centimeter below low border of mandible. So your cassette should cover the mandible completely, so it is below the mandible 2 centimeter. Central ray is from premolar molar region from the opposite side, and beam passes 2 centimeter below the angle of mandible. I told you the indication it is to see pathologies involving ramus of the region. So our ray is going from premolar molar region. Similarly, when I go to body view, then patient position, head is tilted toward the side of interest with again protruded mandible. Why protruded mandible? Because we want to take out that mandible from the zone of superimpositions. That way, we are actually going to visualize that mandible very clearly. Okay. Now, fill position, cassette is placed in a way cassette is placed in such a way that it would be visualizing, giving you something has happened. Let me check. Okay, we'll go ahead. Now, when I say that it is body of the ramus, then the indication is for ramus region, and the pathologies like developmental anomalies and impacted seed. So it is very clear that when we see different projection, that is for body or for ramus region, we are going to have different positioning for both the cases, and uh, indications would be little more common. So to evaluate pathologies and developmental disorder in body of mandible and for ramus of mandible. So both are there. You can see that here the ramus is clearly visualized as the view is for body of ramus. It is little posterior. The ray is coming from little anterior, so that it is centered over the ramus from opposite side, that is 2 centimeter below the inferior border of mandible at first molar region. Again, we'll see what is there in the image. So ray is coming from little anterior going to ramus, and in the radiograph we are going to visualize this ramus region completely. Now suppose there is any tumor or cyst or fracture, they can be visualized quickly with this view, and this is very handy view also. We can make your patient sit in the dental chair, get your intraoral machine and get your radiograph faster. So we have another 5-7 minutes. We'll have a look at all the images so that there will be summarizing of the lecture as well. We'll start from the lateral cephalogram. We can see that cassette is here and the incident ray is coming laterally and going perpendicular to mid-sagittal plane, and this is how it is seen in the radiograph. Okay, so when it comes for your viva, you can actually recognize the view and tell all the indications. We have discussed indication just now. This is another view. Which one is that? This is PA view. Again, the ray is coming from posterior going to anterior. Our line is 45 degree to the FH plane, and this is how the radiograph will look. This is a PA view. We'll move on to next view for summarizing. This is our PNS or Waters view. You can see that sinuses are seen clearly. So don't get confused when you see PA mandible or some other view. You can see sinuses very clearly here, which is for indicated primary for maxillary sinuses. Again, view is posterior anterior view. So the ray is coming from posterior and going to anterior. This line is 37 degree to the FH plane. Now we'll go to SM view. There are two SMVs. One is the modification. Now again the neck is extended. Ray is coming from submental area going to vertex, and this is how we are going to see this radiograph. If you use zygomatic arches, you will say it is a jughandle view. If you don't see zygomatic arches in your radiograph, then you will say it is a SMV. And if I told you that if zygomatic arches are seen, you will say that it is a modified SMV. Now the last one is reverse down, which is opposite positioning of SMV. Your head is rested over the cassette. The ray is coming from posterior area to anterior. Okay, and this is how you are going to see the radiograph. Now for your examination purpose, we'll see some questions also which are frequently asked, but before that we'll cover two more views. That is lateral oblique. I told you there are two projections, body and ramus. If you can see complete body of mandible on the radiograph, you can say that this is lateral oblique projection of left side of mandible showing body region. And if it is showing you ramus completely, which is not showing body, it is sometimes it may happen that you may happen to see ramus in the body projection as well, but it is okay. You can say that it is a lateral oblique view of left side of mandible showing ramus as well as body if it is there. And the pathology has to be identified. If you can identify them right here, we can see the fracture line. How you will say this is a discontinuity of mandible in the body region. This is how we have covered extraoral radiography, and these are the frequently asked questions, which includes indications as well as patient positioning when it comes to SAQ. So if you have any query, guys, you can contact me by mail, or we have our Google groups also, and you can WhatsApp me as well. And I hope the queries are not there. Many queries are not there, but still if they are there, we can discuss them. Let me unmute you, everyone, so that if you want to ask something. Is there any query? Do we need to see any image or radiograph again? Are you there? Students, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
I hope it was
Yes, ma'am.
and quick to learn. Okay, right now, if you want to revise the topic, if you have recorded it, go through it once and let me know if you have any query or you want to ask anything about these views. We have covered the commonly asked views, and the classification has to be memorized nicely so that you can remember the indications very well. So, thank you one and all for joining me here for this radiographic, external radiography lecture.
Thank you, ma'am.
See you again. See you again.
Thank you, ma'am.
For the next
Thank
lecture.
you,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone.